All right, she's not connecting. SD Night Owl, I got you, man. I got you. That's not working. Just give it a sec. How tall am I? Well, until I'm waiting for this thing to load, I'm 5'10". Yeah, I got you, man. Let's see if it works.
Hey,
Hey, man. How are you doing?
good. How about you?
I'm all right. What's your name?
James. I'm James, and I'm from San Diego.
Oh, cool, James.
Nice.
Well, my name's Ian. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So the first time I knew you was when you were from that movie, The Boy Next Door,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and then later on, I realized you were in the Hunger Games.
I was.
Yeah. I'm honestly I know I look like I'm unprepared or something, but I want to be an actor and a celebrity.
You want to be an actor? What do you mean unprepared?
To be honest, I don't have a job at this point, not because of the quarantine thing, but it's just that um I don't know. It's just that I've been struggling to get a job lately. Also, I did want to enroll into college, but my parents didn't want to help me though because it was too hard. And I don't know.
Too hard, like too expensive, or the process of physically getting in was too difficult?
Yeah, the process was getting too difficult because I only went to college for one semester, and
Okay.
then I I dropped out a few years ago because it was just too hard, you know.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah. How did you become an actor? I'm just curious.
Absolutely. Well, it all started with a school play, right? I did a school play because I had a pretty big crush on this girl in the grade above me, and she was a big theater nerd. And so I went out for a school play. I didn't get a part in it, and I was really, I guess I was kind of like frustrated by that. I was like, I really want to be, I want to get a part in the play. I had no connection to acting at this point. Like there was no level of interest in doing it. And so I auditioned for the school musical, and I ended up getting the lead part in the school musical, which was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. After that, I started going to theater camp. So I went to Stage Door Manor in upstate New York, and I went to a place called French Woods, Festival of the Performing Arts. Um, There, I figured out, I learned what an agent was, right? I didn't know what that was. I didn't even know acting was a, quote, profession before that. Um, and I got a local agent in North Carolina, where I grew up. And I started taking acting classes and dance classes like ballet, jazz, tap. I took voice lessons. Um, I read a bunch of books. I mean, it was honestly, man, it was, but interestingly with acting, I didn't, and it's kind of weird to say, but like I didn't really find my passion for acting until I'd probably have been doing it for 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, because I was in acting class all the time, and there was this one moment in acting class I'll never forget where I just felt like this is why I want to act.
How old were you when you started doing acting classes?
I must have been. I'm gonna try to figure it out. It's like doing math sometimes with your age is difficult. Where it's like I'm trying to. I remember more in terms of grades. So I guess I was like, gosh, I must have been 10,
10 years old?
10 or 11.
Wow.
So how old would that have been? Is that like sixth grade? Yeah, 11 is like sixth grade, right, or something?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
11,
14.
sixth grade.
Yeah, it was probably about 11. Yeah, I was in acting class like, and yeah, man. So I was like just taking like scene study classes. There was a great teacher in North Carolina who's still there teaching amazing classes, and he's a mentor and a close friend. His name's Burgess Jenkins, and he so I just trained there all the time. I was just like always in class and doing scenes and auditioning when I get an audition, and that's sort of to answer your question. That's sort of how it was. It was a lot of how I became an actor. I guess was just wanting to get better at the craft, and being very curious about like learning more about actors, watching more movies, reading more plays, reading more acting books. Like I've read a lot of. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. You know, like I might end up doing all that, I guess, then taking acting classes. I don't think I necessarily need to go to a community college for acting classes, right? I could just go to an acting school, right?
I I think your best bet would be to find a scene study class. Um,
Scene
I
study?
mean, like scene study, like a lot of times the classes will. I don't know what the climate is like up in San Diego in terms of acting classes, but if you look up like I guess if you Google like acting classes in San Diego, you'll be able to if you do your research, you'll be able to find the best class there. Whether it's like a Meisner scene study class, which I think is quite lovely. Um, I don't know personally. I would just try to find a scene study class, but I have a lot of friends who went to like BFA programs or BA programs for acting or musical theater, or whatever. And I think that that's like a totally legitimate path to take. But I also think just finding a really, really good class is equally valid.
Oh, when you were taking a role in the movies, well, I mean, this is just an example though. If you wanted to take role in a specific movie, would they let you though, or do they have to choose for you?
What do you mean?
Like, let's say, for example, if you wanted to play in the Hunger Games, like, did you get to because you wanted to, or did they just choose that for you?
No, no, I didn't. I mean, the Hunger Games was interesting because the casting director. Well, to answer your question more in a general sense, no, you don't get to really pick. I mean, unless you're offered a film, um, which I've been offered. I think I've been offered two or three projects that I've done, and so that's like not a huge percentage of the projects that I've done, right? Mostly you're auditioning, mostly you're having to fight for a role. And like the Hunger Games, I found out that this casting director was casting the movie, right? And she was a local casting director for the film. So I went to a workshop that she did, and my mindset was, I'm going to go to this workshop, I'm going to blow her away, and then when the audition comes around for Hunger Games, she'll know me, right? She'll like know who I am. Um, and it's so I went to the workshop and I did the best I could do with the scenes that I was given. Um, so it's almost like, I guess the reason I'm telling that story, part of the reason is that a lot of times when you get a role from, if a casting director pushes you for a role, it's typically because you've been cultivating that relationship over time. It's probably not the first time you've ever gone in for that casting director. You know what I mean? So really the answer to your question is no, you're auditioning most of the time.
Oh, hey, I noticed that when you were going live with that the other person, you told her that you were homeschooled for like your junior and senior year.
I was.
Yeah. Before that, did you go to school like a public school or anything?
I did not go to public school. I pretty much went to the same school since kindergarten, in North Carolina. And the only reason I left was because they kind of told me that I wasn't allowed to miss any more school. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to choose, I don't want to choose like quitting acting because I was really enjoying it. And it was also, sophomore year, I think was the year that I shot Hunger Games. No, sophomore year, I think was the year Hunger Games came out. So there was like some nice momentum with my career and stuff. So I didn't want to quit. So with the help of my mom, we found an online school based out of Ojai, California, and called Laurel Springs, and that's how I finished and graduated high school.
Oh, nice. But the school you went to in North Carolina was more like a charter school or something, or?
I don't know what the delineation between charter and private school is. Um, I'm not well versed in that subject to like intelligently speak on it, but it was a private school. It was
Oh,
not a public school. I
oh,
think
okay.
isn't charter like I think a charter is still technically a public school.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, right. Because the only thing is I don't know the difference between charter and then public, like
Oh, sure. Well, I'm curious. Why are you asking?
I don't know. I'm just curious though, because I thought it would be okay though, because you asked the girl if she was still in high school and all that,
Mhm.
just
Yeah. No, it's fine, man. I don't know. I'm just curious. So, how old are you? Can I ask?
I'm 20 years old.
20. All right, cool, man. So it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like you're interested in acting, right?
I am though, but the thing is, I I need to be prepared though, because I mean, I honestly like I'm kind of a mess right now, honestly.
What's do you feel like you were in that place prior to all of this stuff happening in the world?
E, yeah, kind of. That place
Yeah.
fire happening in the yeah, kind of. I'm not saying the quarantine's holding me down. Even before the quarantine and this coronavirus thing going on, I don't know. I've been struggling to get a job though, but then at the same time, I've been getting lazy, and I mean getting lazy. That's what I meant to say. And I I don't know. Like I'm just like I don't know. I've been having issues too with my life and all that and my family, but I don't know. I just want to. I mean, I do want to get a job and start making some money, but that's not the way to start, is it?
I think you're asking me. That's not the way to start. So I think you know that's probably not the way to start, right?
Probably, I guess. It's
I
like
find,
the
I just find when people like when I ask questions to people a lot of times, like questions like that, it's typically because I know what the answer is, you know?
yeah.
Um,
It's like you said, enroll into a scene study class, right? That's what
yeah,
it's called, scene study?
scene study. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think I might do that when hopefully when the quarantine thing is over, cuz
Sure.
and then but at this point though, I'm still going to look for a job though cuz I barely have money, and I was working at Jack in the Box, but they were only giving me like 1 day and 3 hours, like 1 day
Yeah.
a week and 3 hours,
It's
which
not something you can really rely on, like, money wise, right?
right, because the job I
Yeah.
was working at before Jack in the Box was Goodwill.
Okay.
And dude, that was honestly like my best job ever. Like they were giving me like 5 days a week and part time, and it was great.
Nice.
But it was a warehouse that I was working at, so
Okay.
yeah.
So
And the catch,
it wasn't an individual store, like it wasn't a drop off center kind of vibe.
it was like a big warehouse, and you could actually drop off stuff like
Okay. Okay.
at the place, like donate. But I didn't like the transportation though, so that's why I'll say this too though. I was in this thing called the SE group, which means supportive employment, and
Okay.
that's where I wasn't independent yet because I had a job coach with me. But I
Job.
made it to IP within a year, and IP means individual placement, and
Okay.
so I made it to that within a year, and that's where I could transfer to my independent job. And my independent job was Jack in the Box, but I mean, I don't know. I think they were giving me like one, not that many hours, and only 1 day a week was because I was probably I was late a few times there because of the bus, and the construction they usually do around the town that I live in.
So you don't have a car, so you rely on the bus, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a car
Uh,
yet. I take
I mean,
transportation.
it's hard. It's like, yeah, public transportation it's hard to predict. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I think everyone is guilty of being late. I certainly am. I mean, I do my best to get places early, but it's hard. I mean, one of the best quotes I ever heard was a basketball coach from Wake Forest University, the town I grew up in, Winston-Salem, and his name was Skip Prosser, and he died when he was like 56 or something from a heart attack. And he said, if you can't be on time, be early. You know?
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a good quote. That's a quote,
And
right?
dude, Skip Prosser was like he was a legend, and he was like the coach to like Chris Paul, the famous basketball player for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Um,
Chris Paul, you said?
yeah, Chris Paul. He played on like the Rockets, and he played on gosh, where else? He played for New Orleans for years and stuff. And he played for New Orleans? No, he played. Yeah, he played for New Orleans. But anyway, man, I mean, look, It's hard. You know, I think making money's hard. Um, I think the reality
Mom,
of life is like, if you're, oh, I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I had someone interrupting me for a second, but I had to let
Oh,
him know that I was talking.
oh yeah, dude. Okay, well, hey, but what I was saying is like, I think making money's hard. So going into an endeavor just trying to make money is it in the ideal sense that the money comes from you pursuing what you want to pursue, right?
Yeah.
So I think an important thing right now is that you focus on what you can control, because obviously getting like a job like working at a Goodwill or working at like Jack in the Box or something, it's really difficult right now, obviously, because everything's closed, it seems.
Yeah.
And this is, look, I'm not coming from any place of understanding, like total understanding or any um, authority on any of these subjects. But I think that a thing that helps me right now, because, in terms of acting work right now, I mean, things are not going to be going into production for a bit of time, right? So
Right.
just due to the very nature of what's happening, I mean, everyone is affected by it right now, which is one of the kind of like most beautiful things about it, is like it's unifying everyone in our collective humanity. It's like no one's not affected by this. And what I try to focus on right now is like, what can you control? So like, you want to get into acting, right? You're interested in acting. You can't take a
Yeah.
class right now, obviously, but have you read any books about acting?
Uh, to be honest, no, I haven't.
Well, I have a couple suggestions. If you want to write it on your phone, or you have a pencil and a piece of paper, I can give you a few suggestions right now for some really good books. Um,
Sure, yeah. Right. You
and if
said
you're
write it on my
interested,
phone?
well, you can write it wherever if you want to write the names down. Um, I have a couple really good ones. So right here, this is my acting coach, Howard Fine.
Oh, it's fine.
He wrote a book. Howard Fine. He wrote a book called Fine on Acting, which I think is a pretty terrific book. Um, there's another very, very well-known book called Intent to Live by Larry Moss, which
Intent
was
to live?
very Intent to Live. Yes.
So
Um,
what was the first one called again?
Fine, like
Fine?
fine on acting.
Fine on acting. I don't
Yeah,
have a pen and paper right now.
that's fine. I mean, if you can remember one of them, those are really two. I mean, Intent to Live was the first acting book I read. Um, and that's like, I know exactly where that. I don't have that book with me in LA right now, but if I'm correct, it's on my night table back in my bedroom in North Carolina. And that thing is just destroyed. I mean, it's annotated, it's highlighted, it's wrinkled. That was like very much like a important text to me for many years. And then I started training with Howard. Howard's based in Los Angeles, and Howard and I worked together on movies and stuff, and he and I will just like work on the roles together. But his book is really nice, and it's like very simple, and it's not. He doesn't. It's just about acting. It's a really lovely book. I highly recommend it too.
All right.
And then if you like those, you can follow a really remarkable rabbit hole of all these remarkable acting books. There's so many good ones out there.
Yeah,
And there's
so
some bad ones too, but there's
yeah,
some
so could
really
you
good
say the
ones.
name again? Like say the name of the book again?
Yeah. So Fine on Acting by Howard
Fine on
Fine,
acting.
and then Intent to Live
Intent to
uh,
live
by Larry Moss.
by Larry Moss.
Yes,
I think I'll remember that one because Intent to Live, that one kind of speaks to me, like,
it's a powerful title.
yeah, a powerful
You can't
title.
go wrong with either one of those books. I promise you.
Oh.
But hey, man, look, stay strong, dude. I mean, come on. I'm not like much older than you. At the same time, the difference between 20 and I'm about to be 25. I mean, it's a lot of experiences. So just be nice, be patient with yourself. And I think a lot of times we label ourselves as lazy when we simply don't know the next step. Like lazy's easy, right? Like, oh, I'm lazy. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. Like, I'm lazy. But that's not helpful talk, and it's probably not accurate. It just sounds like you don't know what the next step is, and that's okay. You
Yeah.
know. So just be curious. Just be curious right now. And also, like, I think it's really great, like, with parents, I don't know your relationship with your parents, so I'm not going to speak on it, but typically with parents, we like to take to what they say into account, like, listen to them. Typically, we care what they think. But a lot of times you got to really, I think it's interesting because when you hit resistance with something, if your parents don't want to help you, with college and stuff, that could just be leading you in a different direction where maybe you're the one who's supposed to get yourself into college,
Yeah,
And
but I don't think I would know how to do it by myself, though.
well, I'm sure they have college counselors and stuff. Like it's funny is I was doing research for this thing I'm writing right now, and I was on Craigslist earlier today. If you look up on Craigslist lessons and tutors or something, I think that's it. I saw endless people for like SAT tutors and this and that, like asking, offering their services. I'm sure you could find a college counselor on one of those sites, man. Obviously do your research. You don't find some sketchy person on Craigslist or whatever. But
Hey, can you say hi to my uncle?
yeah, for sure, man. Hey. Well, hey, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, good luck with everything, man. And I think her name is Denise. Like I said to Denise, DM me. Let me know how you're doing.
Yeah. And anyways, I'm James.
James,
Yeah.
lovely to meet you, man. And thanks for opening up. I mean, it's like a pretty vulnerable thing to do. So thank you so much. And I hope you're able to find some clarity, and be nice to yourself in the process, because it's growing up's not easy.
I know. I'll DM you how I'm doing, though. I mean, I hope you could maybe respond or something, because I know a lot of celebrities don't really respond.
I try to respond. I mean, I really do, man. Especially there's a little more time right now simply because it's also just, people take the time to write to me. People take the time to comment. I'm like, it's just nice.
So you usually get DMs like 24/7, like mostly celebrities probably do.
I get a fair amount, but let me know. Just DM me. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, DM me, man. Seriously, I want to hear how you're doing.
Yeah. It was. Sorry, I stutter a lot.
You're fine.
It was really cool meeting you, Ian.
Hey, you too, James.
Yeah. All right then. Well, I guess are you gonna go live with someone else on here?
I might go live with one more person, then call it a day.
All right. Call it a morning.
So, call it a morning. I know I've been up for a while, so I feel like I'm ready for like a nap or something, man.
Oh yeah. Is it 10:31 in LA right now?
It is.
Oh yeah, because it is here in San Diego too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only 10:30. It's crazy. I've been up since it was an early morning. It was a really early morning.
Oh.
Hey, I'll talk to you soon. Let me know how you're doing, all right?
All right, you too, Ian. You have a good one, all right?
You too.
Take care, man.
All right. So, how about we do one more person? Let me talk one more person. No, I'm not related to Tyler Hoechlin. Oh, it's so funny. What's goofy though is I'm technically movie related to Posey.